Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 107. Thank you so much for joining us, as always, on this forcible Tuesday evening. Earth date, March 14th, 2017. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Peasley Phil Dankerton. Say hello, Peasley.
Hi, Remington. Peasley Phil Dankerton.
Peasley Phil Dankerton.
Is there any sort of rhyme or reason to why Phil Dankerton? Peasley, I get. Peasley's good. Peasley's a name a human would have. Phil Dankerton?
It rolls off the tongue so well. Phil Dankerton.
So,
oh, hello there. My name is Peasley Phil Dankerton.
So you're imagining like a very polite British man?
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?
Like, I'm imagining this guy's like no taller than 3 foot, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Very, very slight, you know. There's not a lot to him.
He always has his hat in his hands?
Yes, he has a very, very nice suit on. You know, he goes to work at the library.
Oh, he's a librarian. That's nice.
No, he's not a librarian per se. He just works there.
Large tomes frighten me.
I can't carry them. I can't carry them all at the same time. I have to have the rather large librarian lady put them on the cart for me, and then I push them around to the tables. So I'm not so much a librarian as a cart pusher.
They give me a tiny net to catch the moths.
To be fair, I've continued the cart pushing lineage from way back during the plague, though.
Oh, so the Phil Dankerton lineage is one of cart pushing.
Yes, it is. It is one of cart pushing. And you think that it would have given me more muscle, you know, especially pushing the dead bodies around during the plague. But no. Very, very weak. Pushing through the mud.
How was your father built or your grandfather?
They were also very slight. Peasley Phil Dankerton. Good day.
And off he goes, pushing a cart into the British sunset. The sun never sets on the Phil Dankerton Empire.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it never rose either because it's constantly raining in Britain.
Yeah.
So there's that. So how are you?
I am fantastic.
Brandon?
I wasn't doing great, but after meeting Peasley, I mean, there's no way that he can't brighten your day.
I know, right? He brings that ray of sunshine that's lost in the cold muck of Great Britain. I
don't want to ruin anything, but I'm pretty sure that before you got here, he tried to sell me drugs.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, pardon me, sir. Would you like to have some cocaine?
Peasley, we're recording, not now.
I'm sorry.
You're on mic. Peasley, out of here.
Go. I'm being recorded.
5-0, out.
All right. Good day. I mean, I did not mean, bother. Not cocaine in the drug sense, but cocaine in the...
All right. Okay, Peasley.
Oh my.
I mean, your cart is...
Oh dear.
I'm just now noticing literally filled with drugs, so you need to go. You need to get out of the studio.
Oh, yes. I suppose I should. Good day, gentlemen.
And there goes Phil Dankerton. The sun never sets on the Phil Dankerton Empire.
We haven't recorded in a while.
It's been 3 weeks.
It's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did some things that you weren't able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was lost without you.
I think you did good.
I appreciate that, but I did. I felt lost without you, without your shoulder to lean on, your quick mind and your quips.
I think good.
You do. You think much better than I do.
So you did the panel, right? The Comic-Con, or not comic, the podcasters panel that was posted last week's episode?
It wasn't
the roundtable discussion?
Yeah, it wasn't a panel so much as just a gathering.
A gaggle of podcasters?
A gaggle
a murder of podcasters.
Yes.
A virgin of podcasters.
That sounds way more accurate, yes. A virgin of podcasters. So hopefully the other guys will be listening in now and
I
we
like
can
sex. Fuck you, Brent.
we can all adopt the version of podcast.
I think we need to.
I like it. I'm going to put that up in the podcast consortium page.
So how was it sitting in? Was it weird?
It was, man, it wasn't really weird. It was a ton of fun. I mean, it was just sitting around the table with a bunch of like-minded fellas, you know, just talking away. A bunch of like-minded fellas just talking away and making fun of Bucky.
Who's Bucky?
Bucky was this younger gentleman who has a love affair with Captain America.
Is that why they call him Bucky?
Yes, his name is not actually Bucky, but for the sake of legal reasons, we shall not name him for real.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this just Peasley Phil Dankerton?
Yes, it's just Peasley. Peasley Phil Dankerton.
Peasley, out of here. Go.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to know if you wanted any heroin.
God damn it, Peasley.
Oh, you're still
You get out of here and leave that heroin. And take 90% of that heroin with you.
We just need 10% and the 2 whores that you have with you as well.
We really corrupted Peasley pretty quick.
Yeah, that's how we do.
He's like this little Mr. Magoo type figure into now this drug kingpin with whores. I just pay them
Peter,
to read
you
to
and
me.
5 of those women, get out of here. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. So I came geared out. You know, I brought our mixing board and bought new mics and bought new mic stands and
Which I'm utilizing right now.
Yep, you're using right now. You're actually using the new mic that I bought as well. And
It's a new me.
it is. And for some reason that we didn't actually figure out, the recording didn't actually go into the computer. So my mixing board was working fine. We could see the signal coming into the computer, but the signal wasn't going back out to the recording.
So how did you get the recording then? Where did it go?
How did I get the recording? The other 2 mics that because, you know, I only have space for 4 mics on mine.
Uh-huh.
So they had 2 condenser mics, and condenser mics, as we've talked about before briefly, will pick up any noise from anywhere.
So you were picked up on their mics.
So yes. So the rest of the room was picked up by these other mics, and what I had to do was go in and crunch them down, who were right on top of those mics, and bring us up.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it sounded it didn't sound bad by the time I was done with it, but, you know, there was a definite difference.
I mean, you can tell that there was audio issues with it, but I don't
Right.
think it sounded bad at all.
And I was so mortified because all this time I was in there setting up, and they're like, oh, everything looks so professional. It looks like a professional setup. And here I am going, yeah, don't count on that shit. And sure enough, we had audio problems. So, but it's cool. It was still a ton of fun. We mingled, we talked about being on each other's podcasts and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that we may have some more rotations of guests here in the near future for this year. Just if we can get people in on our tight little schedule,
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to get extra people in to just bullshit with us.
It is actually really awkward, Remington, because I was talking to the guys, and because of the way you set everything up, you're out of the consortium.
You can't kick me out of the consortium. I made the consortium.
We put it to a vote.
I made it and I can take it away.
You know how podcasters vote?
How?
I don't know. I thought I was going to have something there. I didn't.
Did you not have a joke lined up for that?
No, I did. I was actually hoping you would fill that in for me.
Nope.
I wasn't.
have no
I
idea.
wasn't setting up a joke. I was legitimately asking how
Oh,
podcasters vote.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Apparently, we don't know.
Yeah.
So let's continue.
Okay. That joke was stupid.
You're stupid.
You're stupid. So after that, like the next day was the Classic Plastics Toy and Comic Expo, which ran for 2 days for Saturday and Sunday. I didn't get to go Saturday, even though that was kind of the plan, but I did end up going Sunday. You guys have seen on the site, and if not, then you should definitely go check it out because they were going out the same as podcasts as well, the recordings. But I interviewed, 5 different people, 4 or 5 different people?
5 different
Five
people.
different people. You know, people that we've had on before, some people that we haven't. And it was my first time doing something like that. So that was really fun too. I had some slight audio issues with that. Terry, unfortunately, I couldn't use his audio. It would take, I can use it. I'll say that. I can use it, but it would take me hours and hours and hours to edit.
I think that the audio from him was because of his raw magnetism
Yes.
as a person.
Yeah.
Messed with the equipment.
Yes, I agree. I'm pretty sure that his electromagnetic field really interferes with anything electronic.
Just the crackling energy and creativity that it's like whenever you touch those metal balls and your hair raises up. It's like that when you get close to him. Hair just
Tesla coil
straight up.
Is the word you're looking
And
for.
it's a metal ball.
Tesla coil. He doesn't even write on a word processor. He can't. He has to use an old-fashioned, old-timey typewriter.
Tesla coil.
Tesla coil.
He writes on a Tesla coil. That's how advanced he is.
He he has one hand on it, and then he just uses a metal plate and writes in cursive with his finger in electricity.
He's like Powder.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. What's
The
Powder?
movie Powder?
No, I never saw it.
Okay, well, never mind then.
Okay. Is this what happens when
all
we
I had.
don't record for 3 weeks?
Well, I just assumed that you would have seen the movie Powder. It was huge in the 90s.
Nope. The only powder I
White
know
powder?
of. Yeah, the only powder that I know of is the stuff that Peasley Phil Dankerton's selling. So, yeah.
He just mixes it together. It's a real party.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you're getting.
Yeah. It's madness.
I love that. I just met him and I love that guy.
I know. He's a stout little fuck.
All
I don't
right.
know. I just wanted to say fuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We hadn't said it yet, I don't think.
Maybe.
So let's get that in there.
Yep. So what did you bring on? You've had 3 weeks to prepare. What did you bring?
Apparently, things are happening in the news.
Oh, really?
Marvel Now, the comic series Marvel Now.
Oh, not
Like their
Marvel
new-
later.
Right. Marvel Now, the Marvel in the Now.
Okay.
The editor-in-chief, Axel Alonso,
Axel Alonso.
which I don't know anything about this guy. I've never seen a picture, but that's a pretty badass name, right?
Yeah.
Axel Alonso.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Released a picture that was labeled under construction, and it was a vat of chemicals. It was a painting, a vat of chemicals with what looks like a Hulk-Wolverine hybrid growing inside of it,
Yes.
called Batch H.
We mentioned that slightly in the podcast orgy
Uh-huh.
that we had, but I think we got off topic real quick. So or maybe there hadn't been a lot of news that came out.
There's really no more news about it yet.
That's it?
Yeah,
Just
just a pretty much coming soon.
okay, gotcha. So we're gonna see Wolverine and the Hulk smash together.
Yeah. Not biblically, like somehow genetically combined into one thing.
Gotcha.
I don't know what it is. Because I know Old Man Logan is in the Marvel Now timeline
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
So Wolverine does still exist. The Hulk still exists.
Right.
So I don't know. It would be interesting if they infused the Hulk with the Weapon X program, infused him with adamantium. But at the same time, there's a point where it's just fucking overkill, right?
Yeah, I mean that was a case that was brought up. It's like, who would be able to beat that?
Yeah.
I'm legitimately asking you, what's your take? Who would be able to beat that?
Well, I don't think that the adamantium's really going to do much more.
Right.
I mean,
he's
Hulk's
already
basically fucking invulnerable.
Yeah, he's nigh invulnerable. So
The adamantium really only helps with, reinforcing your bones and stuff. You
right.
can't even break the Hulk's bones.
Yeah.
I guess Thor can take on the Hulk.
Yeah. They do frequently. They spar
Iron
with
Man
each
and
other.
his Hulkbuster outfit can.
Yeah, but
Captain America. I mean, everybody's defeated the Hulk, but it's always through like some crazy circumstances.
yeah, I mean, it was either by accident or by very quick thinking. Now if he has an adamantium skull, now
Just
what?
headbutting everybody.
Yeah,
That's all he needs to do. He doesn't even need his arms. They would wither away.
yeah,
He'd have T-Rex arms and a giant head.
Yeah.
So it would be the Hulk, but just like a giant head, a torso, big meaty legs, no arms, and he'd just be battering ramming himself into things.
yeah. See that?
Like Willow Smith, he'd be whipping his hair back and forth, just crushing things.
Oh, I don't understand that reference either.
That's fine. We'll just move on.
I think here, Magneto would be the only person.
Yeah.
That would be it.
And
Because Magneto is way more powerful than, he's probably one of the most powerful mutants, period.
yeah. Well,
The
maybe.
dude uses the magnetic fields of the earth to fly.
Mm-hmm.
He has complete control over magnetic fields. Everything exudes a magnetic field.
Is that where it is? I mean, he doesn't just control metal?
No.
I thought he just controlled metal and shit.
Nope.
Well, yeah, so I mean, I guess if he can control magnetic fields, but at the same time, the magnetic field that a human would give off would be so negligible.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, that's the only way he beat Wolverine was to rip out the adamantium from his skeleton. Like, you can't just be running at him. If you have no metal on you, you can't just run at Magneto and him just like, whoop, and throw you away. He just can't do it.
I don't know. He pulled the iron out of a guard's blood to escape from prison.
Yeah, that's true. He did do that.
Yeah. Now, granted, that guard was fed more iron than usual, but still.
Was he?
Yes. I think that was the thing is who was Mystique, right?
Yeah.
Mystique? I think Mystique had brought the guard food or something.
Like a lot of steak and shit?
Well, I think she brought food in to Magneto, and the guard was like, hey, I'm going to eat it myself. I don't remember the movie. It's been many years since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. And it was very heavily laden with iron. But I mean, fuck, if that dude ate a bunch of Kellogg's before coming into work, that would do the same
Special K,
thing.
he'd be done.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know if I like that. That seems a little much. And I remember the scene you're talking about now, because he uses that and makes like a little, looks like ball bearing, right? And just like whips it around.
Yeah, yeah. I think it makes a bunch of them and just...
I mean, how much iron are you going to get out of blood, though? I mean, are we going to get into the semantics of this now?
I mean,
I don't think you would be able to pull enough iron out.
I don't know. Let's see how much iron the average human body has, Brandon.
Oh, because like I was watching Age of Apocalypse before I came over here, and I'm about an hour into it before I stopped. And they go to capture Magneto. I guess spoilers for the first hour of Age of Apocalypse. They go to capture Magneto because he's living in Poland after the stuff that happened in Days of Future Past.
Right.
And they go to confront him. It's a bunch of policemen, and they have bows and arrows with wooden arrows.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's just done.
Yeah, I don't know.
So he ends up finding metal and killing them all and whatever.
Sure.
But I mean, had he not, they could have just bow and arrowed him right there.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I guess it depends on how you look at it.
But I
think there have been some comics that have established that he controls magnetic fields, not just metal.
Probably. And I mean, I don't know enough about Magneto. I just know everything I know about Magneto is from the X-Men cartoon in the 90s.
Right, yeah.
And comics I've read here and there. I don't know his full backstory. I don't know the House of M stuff, any of that.
Right.
I just think that once the Hulk got a hold of him, because Magneto's not super strong. He's not even built. He's built like a dude.
Right,
know?
yeah.
The Hulk gets a hold of him and he's just done.
Yeah. So, the human body, children to grown adult male, has between 3 and 4 grams of iron inside of it.
Okay. 3 to 4 grams. I mean, that would be enough to make like a ball bearing.
So, let's see here. If we were to take a look, that's 1 gram, and that's 1 ounce. So, how many grams are in an ounce?
16, I think. Or 8 or 16.
There are 28 grams in an ounce. So yeah, I mean 3 to 4 grams wouldn't be a ton.
I wasn't even remotely close.
No, you weren't. You weren't.
I was just going off of weed prices. An eighth's an eighth of an ounce, but I guess an eighth is 3.5 grams.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
Okay.
I don't smoke weed anymore. Just I need to say that.
You just happen to know.
I've just been picking up stuff from Peasley.
Yeah.
He let me borrow his digital scales.
So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be enough to make a very large ball bearing, but at the same time, you don't need much because he can accelerate that to however fast he can, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, you haven't seen Age of Apocalypse, right?
No, I have not.
He uses... The guards end up killing, again, major spoilers, the guards end up killing his daughter and wife right there.
Okay.
Because his daughter's a mutant and she starts controlling eagles or something.
Okay.
So they shoot him. He goes and is like hugging them. And the guards are kind of standing there like, oh man, we shouldn't have done that. And then his daughter has like a metal locket, like a tiny little metal necklace.
Yeah.
And he just picks it up and zips it through and just goes through the throats of like 12 guards. Just within like 20 seconds.
Right. So, I mean, there you go. I think Magneto would be the only one who could be able to take out the Hulk-Wolverine mashup.
Batch H.
Batch H. Yes.
I don't know. It might be interesting. It seems like overkill to me at this point.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, what's even more badass than the Hulk and Wolverine? Imagine we smashed them together like Legos and just made a super Hulk-Wolverine.
Hulk-Verine.
That one's a hard portmanteau.
Yeah.
Hulk-Wolverine. No.
A Wulk.
A Wulk. I like that.
Yep. It's simple, to the point. Wulk.
A Wulk on the wild side. Issue 1. TM.
Wulk
You're
on the
welcome,
wild
Marvel.
side. Wow.
All right. Let's go to a sadder story. I feel like it's a sadder story.
Oh, do we have to go sad?
It's not sad in a real world sad.
Okay.
It's
Just
not
sad
like
in the
two
face.
guys sitting in a room discussing whether Magneto could kill the Hulk sad.
The Hulk-Verine. The wolf.
The Wulk.
Wulk. I've already forgotten.
Yeah, you forget.
It's a good
You're really
thing-
not committing to this.
Good thing we trademarked that.
So, Remington, have you wondered perhaps what happened to Jar Jar Binks
No.
after Revenge of the Sith?
I hope that he died.
Well, I find this sad. I want to get your opinion on it.
Okay.
And this is going to be me reading for
I don't
probably
hope
like
that he died.
2
I'm just
minutes.
placating all you nerds out there that hated him.
So there's an author named Chuck Wendig, and he is doing a trilogy of Star Wars books.
Okay.
The new one, at the time of this story, the book hadn't released yet, but I've had this story for about a month now. So
Okay,
the
fair
book
enough.
is out and you can read it. The book is called Star Wars Aftermath Empire's End. And in these books, he'll have little vignettes, little side chapters that just kind of show what characters have been up to since the prequels or since the original trilogy or even after The Force Awakens.
Okay.
So in this one of the chapters says it's an interlude called Theed Naboo. And it's
wait, Theed?
Theed,
Theed as in
Theed, Theed.
Okay.
Theed Naboo, which
Okay.
was one of the cities, like the big city in Naboo that they went to, was Theed.
Okay.
And it follows a little boy who's walking through Naboo, a little unnamed boy, I think, and he comes across Jar Jar Binks,
Okay.
who is performing. He's like busking in the middle of Theed
Okay.
for money.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this, and this is a little bit long, but I'll try to zip through it and not make it take forever, okay? This is an excerpt from the book that was released.
Okay.
Since children started coming in by the shipload as refugees, the Gungan has served them, performing for the kids once or twice a day. He does tricks, he juggles, he falls over and shakes his head as his eyes roll around inside their fleshy stalks.
Oh, God.
Ugh, yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
He makes goofy sounds and does strange little
So he
dances.
has seizures while he's performing?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
he's got it bad. Sometimes it's the same performance
I
repeated.
told him to stay away from Peasley.
Sometimes the Gungan does different things you've never seen, things you'll never see again.
Whoa.
Things he does with those fleshy stalks, I imagine.
I imagine.
That's an
yeah.
editor's note there. Take out the part, Chuck, where he fucks people with his eye stalks, please.
Oh, none of that happened in the book, right?
I haven't read it. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Just it could be like 20 pages in detail describing him having sex with his eye stalks. I just don't know. Just a few days ago, he splashed into the fountain center, then pretended to have the stream shoot him way up in the air. He leapt straight up, then back down with a splash, and he leapt from compass point to compass point, back and forth, before finally conking his head on the edge and plopping down on his butt, shaking his head, tongue wagging. All the kids laughed. Then the Gungan laughed too. The clown, they called him. Bring the clown. We want to see the clown. We like it how he juggles glombo shells, or spits fish up in the air and catches them, or how he dances around and falls on his butt. The adults, though, they don't say much about him, or to him, and no other Gungans come to see him either. Nobody even says his name.
Jesus.
So then it goes on. The little boy asks him why people don't say his name. And you can do a decent Jar Jar voice, right?
Probably.
Okay, so here. Just this gray highlighted part. Go ahead and read the Jar Jar parts and try not to cry.
My no so sure. Misa thinks it's cause Jar Jar making some mistakes. Big mistakens.
Yeah, my Jar Jar isn't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made a noble effort, though, and I'll give you
Thanks.
that.
Der Gunga bosses banished me long ago. Misa no been to home in forevers. And Desa Heesan Naboo think I help the Empire.
It even sounds so fucking irritating just in text form.
Yeah, it does. That's terrible.
So basically, because of him, he caused the whole
Right. He backed the Empire. He backed
Palpatine.
yes, Senator Palpatine taking over. He was kind of the nail in the coffin of the Republic.
Yeah. So after all of this happened, in the aftermath, he went back to Naboo, where the Gungans exiled him and won't let him go back to their kingdom. So now he spends his days getting old performing as a street clown.
Yeah. Well, I guess that puts to rest the thought that he was the hand behind the Emperor.
Or maybe he still is.
Or maybe he still is.
That's how he juggles Glombo shells.
Gasp. Oh, wait, the gasp came through.
I didn't hate Jar Jar.
Yeah, I didn't hate him either.
I mean, the movies would have been better without him. He was irritating, but I don't have that overall hatred of Jar Jar.
I don't even want to say
that
the movies would have been better off without him. I think that the movies could have done well to not feature him so prominently. It's okay to have a little bit of joking around, but it was so in your face when he did it.
Yeah, I mean, you have this pretty serious story about the Jedi Council trying to go through and talk to the leaders
and
of
the
Naboo
rise and
all
fall of the Chosen One.
And then you just have him like stepping in animal shit and like hopping around looking at his foot. Like,
Puudoo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or he randomly reaches his hand into the pod racer and it electrocutes him for a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just all unnecessary.
But at the same time, like, I don't know, that got me a little bit. The fact that this character is just like living alone on the streets now, exiled. Nobody even says his name.
Yeah. All the adults shun him. All the Gungans shun him.
And I mean, these books are canon. So that's what happened to Jar Jar.
That is pretty sad. Yeah.
He's going to die alone in a fountain. The kids are going to be poking him,
It's gonna
clutching at his Glombo shells.
smelling like fish.
Smelling like Glombo. I just want to keep saying Glombo shells.
Glombo shell.
That's so stupid. God, Naboo was such a stupid fucking planet. Like, the Gungans were so stupid.
Yeah. Bunch of racists.
Boss Nass I can get behind. I liked Boss Nass.
Yeah.
He was so fucking over the top.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the fact that you can write the word Glombo shell and it fits in with what the world has created.
Right, yeah.
Or the world that was created for these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what happened to Jar Jar, dying alone, sucking a dick. So the third story, the Nintendo Switch was released.
Yes,
it's
yes,
been a
it
while.
was. How has that been?
I don't know. I didn't get one.
I didn't. No, I meant just the release
through NASA.
Yeah.
My experience with the Nintendo Switch at NASA.
Yeah, yeah. Has it been the headache that you surmised it would be?
Sort of. There were very few consoles available.
Right.
We got very small amount of consoles we could sell, including pre-orders.
Yeah.
And, NASA is known for selling systems.
Right, yeah.
So I would say every day I work there at the command center, I have a couple people come in asking me for a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And
that
people,
you can't sell them because you don't have any.
Right.
Right.
And people are irritated by it,
Yes.
understandably, because Breath of the Wild, the Legend of Zelda game that was released day one for it,
Right.
is getting 10 out of 10 reviews.
Yeah.
I'm
heard
seeing
that
on
it's
huge lists that people are
amazing.
saying like contender for best game ever.
Right. For best game ever.
Yeah, literally for best game ever. It's within the top 5 highest rated games of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So anybody who comes in who has a Switch, everybody bought Breath of the Wild. It was just, if you're buying a Switch, you're buying Breath of the Wild.
Right.
And everybody I've talked to, I always ask them the same thing. How are you enjoying it? And then, is it really as good as everybody's saying it is?
Yeah.
Every fucking one of them is like, better. It is so good. I mean, it's like they've looked into the face of God when they talk about Breath of the Wild.
You say the name of it and there's this holy light shines down upon them. They
Yeah.
hiss away from it because they aren't worthy, but they play it
They
anyway.
hiss away from it.
Yep.
It's just a window, guys. It's fine. But people are licking their cartridges.
Yeah, what's that all about?
The cartridges taste bad.
Is that it?
Yeah, I thought there was more to it.
Human beings are fucking disgusting.
Because someone somewhere licked it and then went online and talked about it, and now you can go on YouTube and find probably 200 videos of people licking Switch cartridges because they taste bad.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of them, and it's just people like, hey guys, so today I've heard the Switch cartridge is pretty bad, so here we go. And then they talk for fucking 5 minutes without actually licking it.
Yeah, because you have to hit that 7-minute buffer there.
And then they'll just like, okay guys, I'm going to do it. Tiny little touch of their tongue, and then clearly overreacting to like, ugh, ugh, ugh.
I mean, it's metal and plastic. What the fuck do you expect it to taste like?
Well, the reason that it tastes so bad is because have you seen how big the cartridges are?
No.
They're like the size of an SD card.
Okay.
So Nintendo had a fear of children eating them or choking on them.
Okay.
So they coated them with a bitterant.
Okay.
I can't remember what the name of the chemical is, but it's a chemical that's like the worst tasting chemical to humans and animals, like dogs.
Okay.
So they coat it with that to make sure children don't eat them. So in response, adults like, okay, guys, Nintendo here. We just want you to know we're releasing these cartridges. They could be a choking hazard. We put a thing on it to make sure that if your young children get a hold of them, they'll be so repellent that they won't eat it. So here you go, adults, enjoy your system. Within a fucking half a day, hundreds of adults are taking videos of themselves licking it. And Nintendo is just sitting, James Nintendo is sitting at his giant desk at Nintendo headquarters, shaking his head sadly. Finger hovering an inch above the Call Godzilla button. Because if anybody has control of Godzilla in Japan,
it's Nintendo.
It's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Specifically James Nintendo, head of Nintendo.
I like it. It's James Nintendo. He's not even Japanese.
He is. That's what's weird.
He just adopted the Nintendo moniker. My name was actually James Brolin, not to be confused with the famous James Brolin, just James Brolin. So I adopted the Nintendo moniker.
Actually, what happened is they combined me, actor James Brolin, and the head of Nintendo, Batch H Wolverine Hulk style. And this is what came out. Basically, James Brolin with straighter black hair.
Yeah.
And they gave me this desk. So
And
konnichiwa, I guess.
And now I have control over Godzilla. So there's that.
Would the Godzilla button have like one of those plastic cases over it where you'd have to flip it like an eject switch in an airplane?
And when you flipped it up, it played, "Oh no, they say he's got to go. Here comes Godzilla." Yeah.
Like the whole song or just that part?
No, the whole song. Because
and the button's locked. You have to listen to the entire song before you can press
they
it.
want to make doubly sure that you know what the fuck you're doing before you release Godzilla on the masses.
It's like when the computer asks twice if you really want to exit without saving.
Yes, computer, I know what the fuck I'm doing, okay?
Godzilla. That's ridiculous. Okay, so for my final story, I figure we might be able to have a discussion on this.
Okay. You figure wrong, but okay.
This is, I don't know, it's sort of a non-story. It's not like a super news thing, but I saw actually James Patrick shared it on his Facebook.
Okay.
And I thought it would be an interesting discussion point. So there's a con in Florida called Elite Con.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You saw this?
Oh, yeah.
That banned cosplayers.
Yes.
So the premise behind it is they are billing themselves as a con for collectors to go to. There's not panels there. You don't get autographs. There's not celebrities. It's just go there and there's high-end collectibles to go and buy. I want to find a mint in-box Luke Skywalker re-release from Return of the Jedi 1999. I'm going to go there and find it mint in-box graded and pay $300 for it.
Okay. Yeah.
So on their Facebook page, they mentioned a couple weeks out, like, blah, 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 can't wait to see everybody. Just as a reminder, cosplayers are not allowed.
Right.
And this caused a huge shitstorm.
Right.
So what is your opinion on this?
I understand that cons have become this place where you can go and show off your work and your trade in the vein of cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
There are thousands of cons per year.
I mean, literally thousands at this point,
Literally
right?
thousands of cons. They spring up every year in new locations throughout the year even. Our little town has, what are we up to, 3 or 4 cons that people have put on.
Yeah, I mean, within an hour drive, we could probably go to 5 or 6.
Yeah. Oh, within an hour drive, we could probably go to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being conservative, I think.
Yeah.
So, to continue this point, you can go within a couple of hours to hundreds of cons from where you are, if you want to take the time to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And show off your ability to either be a character or the work that you've put into becoming a character, or etc. and so on. And I may get some hate for this. Each con has their own people who run it. They have their own rules. They have their own thing that they want to be. If they don't want to cater to a cosplayer, they don't have to.
Mm-hmm. So let me then, because I agree with you, but let me devil's advocate some of the arguments there.
Yeah, we wouldn't be dueling ogres if you didn't.
Yeah,
We'd
otherwise
just
it'd
be
be
friendly
like,
ogres.
oh, hey, I agree with you.
Oh, I agree with you too.
All right, I guess we're going to have a 20-minute episode.
Yep.
Good night, everybody. The arguments I've seen online is that cons have sort of transcended just like a convention. A con, if you're calling yourself a con, that now implies someplace where you can go and do cosplay and be around other like-minded people.
Right.
And so to use the name con and to be a con, it's a personal attack on cosplayers to be like, you're not welcome.
Right.
It feels like it's poo-pooing part of the fandom that goes along with the whole cosplay, or goes along with the whole con wrapped up Christmas present.
Yeah. It's just another thing for fucking people to bitch about. This kind of inane bullshittery is the kind of thing that drives me up a wall.
But I was planning on going to your convention, Mr. Elite Con
Yeah.
owner,
Okay.
and I worked hundreds of hours on this costume.
Sure.
And I spent a lot of time,
Uh-huh.
and I'm very proud of what it looks like. And a lot of my friends got these tickets, and we were all going to go to your convention and be in cosplay
Mhm.
and enjoy the experience and enjoy being with one another and enjoy the exposure.
Right. Well, I'm sorry. There are other cons that you can go to. I'll gladly refund your money. If
See, that's the thing. They don't.
Well, I know.
They said they wouldn't refund the money.
well, now that part I'll give you. That's bullshit.
Uh-huh.
If people paid,
The reason they said they wouldn't refund the money, to interject for a moment,
okay,
is because they said the rules of the no cosplayers has clearly been on their website for months,
yes,
and it has. They've been very open about the fact that no cosplayers are allowed, and that's why they said they're not doing refunds.
and that's their legal right.
I don't think you can just not give refunds, though. I guess I don't know fuck all about the law, really, but I feel like if they haven't gone yet, you still kind of got to give a refund.
I would.
Mhm.
It would be the right thing to do, because here's the thing. They have to acknowledge that they're shooting themselves in the foot. I'm not going to say that they don't have a right to say no cosplay. They do. They spelled it out clearly in their bylaw for the con.
Yeah.
If people bought tickets and didn't read the fine print, which apparently isn't so fine, you said it's is it prominently displayed? Or?
I mean, it's within the list of
Okay,
the rules of the con.
it's at
It's
least
not
within
like
the list.
bolded and, 20-point font, but it's within the...
So first thing, let's cover this one first. As a con goer, you are responsible for reading the rules of the con before you make any commitments.
Okay.
I think that's a fair thing to ask. If you don't do your due diligence.
But I
and
was so
reading-
busy making my Naruto costume, I didn't have time to comb over the pages and pages.
Usually they're not that long.
This, I had to click next at least once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm
Or are you
being
just,
the...
we're still doing the
Yeah, we're
banter?
role play. We're doing some RP. We're doing some
Okay.
live action role playing right now.
Okay, well,
I'm a
so
rogue.
you're saying that you did take the time to read them then?
At least the first page, and then I had to click next.
Uh-huh.
And that just...
So you're lazy is what you're telling me.
my hands, I'd been sewing so much
Uh-huh.
that my clicking finger, which is my right pointer finger, was tuckered completely.
Well,
so I
I
got
mean-
halfway through the click and it just gave out.
I mean, to be fair, I've done a lot of late night interneting,
Mhm.
where hands were just too covered in random things that I've used my
Okay.
nose to poke a mouse before, but whatever.
Okay.
Cheetos.
Okay. All right.
Brandon.
Yeah. Cheetos.
Cheetos.
Mhm.
Jeez. Fucking pervert. Anyway, as a con goer, you should do your due diligence to read through the rules of the con,
Yeah.
Because at that point, if you don't read the rules and you go and say one of the rules of the con is no firearms on the premises,
Mhm.
okay, that's a legitimate concern. So you go to the thing, they find out you have a firearm, and you lose your money. You don't get a fucking refund if you come to the thing with a firearm.
Well, and I know there are some cons
It's in the bylaw.
that also you can't have weapons
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
And I mean,
no foam weapons even.
Yeah. Or they need to be peace bound.
Yeah,
Stuff
exactly.
like that.
So, and if you don't, you get kicked out and you don't get refunds. So now that's if you have arrived. You forfeit your right to a refund by showing up and not knowing the rules.
Okay.
Beforehand, if you are saying you bought tickets and you were going to go and cosplay, you didn't know, you didn't read the rules, you should still be allowed to get a refund. They should acknowledge the fact, like I said, that they're shooting themselves in the foot by not allowing cosplayers, because that has become a large part of the con-going community.
Right. I mean, cosplay is a huge part of the con experience. Yeah. And I will say, and I've talked a lot through our various things, that I love cosplay and I love cosplayers. I've never done it. I would love to cosplay sometime. I think it would be super fun. I admire what cosplayers do. We've been to a few cons. Sometimes they fucking block stuff, and that's pretty irritating.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you got a huge costume or you have a lineup of people who are getting stopped for pictures.
Right.
And whose fault is that? Is that their fault? I mean, not really. They're out in public showing it. Is it my fault for getting irritated? Not really.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I can sort of see the elite cons argument as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But so after all this stuff came out, they got a lot of hate on their Facebook page because it spread within the community.
Oh, sure.
So they deleted the reminder of, hey, just a reminder, no cosplay, and posted this big, long bulleted list on their Facebook of like, here's our response to all this. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's fucking huge.
Okay.
But to your point about the refunds, this is what they said. This is point 3. We have made it known since day one in our posts, videos, and website that this would be an event focused solely on the collectibles and not cosplay, autographs, or panels. So no deception there as suggested. No one needs a refund because it was made known right up front many months ago and many times since then.
Yeah.
Also, people were attacking them and saying like, well, nobody's going to come to your con, then we're going to boycott it. So they said, while we appreciate the concern for low attendance, we are a small show and a small venue that could not hold all of you even if we were to have cosplaying. The larger conventions are better equipped to handle that volume of attendees and activities that are not vending related. Our show is focused on comics, action figures, Lego, die-cast, Funko Pop, and artwork. We honestly do not have anything in the way of cosplay vendors.
There you go. I still think that they should offer refunds if people were thinking that they were going to be able to go and cosplay.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I agree with them. Like, if they said it, and it's been in their bylaws since the beginning, you have a right, or you have a responsibility as a con goer to know the rules of the con.
Yeah, I mean, the refunds are just goodwill.
Yeah,
it's just goodwill at that point of like, I couldn't even say saving face because, I mean, they're not trying to backpedal.
No,
like, I didn't read a whole lot of that, but I mean, it's pretty confrontational.
Yeah, they're like,
their
fuck
response.
You, this is what we want to do.
It's a step back from fuck you, middle finger.
Yeah.
But it is like, this is what we want to do, and if you don't like it, we don't care. We don't want you here anyway.
Right, exactly. And that's fine. That's their right. They don't have to placate.
Yeah.
You know?
But it speaks to the bigger point then of cons as a whole, of comic book conventions as a whole.
I think it's great if you allow it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge community, like we've talked about, built around it. I don't think that community needs to get all up in arms, piss in their Cheerios, because one particular con said from the beginning that they don't want cosplayers there.
Is it partially, though, that feeling of being ostracized? Could that be where it stems from?
I wish I could.
Because cosplayers are kind of made fun of, not so much anymore, but it's only been within the last few years that it's really mainstream acceptable to see somebody at a con dressed in a full outfit. And, you know, my dad might see me, say, for example.
Right, yeah.
5 years ago, my dad sees me cosplaying as some weirdo Japanese character. He's going to give me a look like, oh my God, why did I do that? Why did I create that beast? Now, he might roll his eyes a little bit, but it's just like, people go to comic book conventions and they dress up.
Right, yeah.
You know?
It just... What were we talking about?
That feeling of being
the
ostracized and still being fresh.
I wish I could say yes, but I can't, because there are hundreds of cons that are within an hour or two of even us. And there are still some cons that are, say, out in the Midwest or stuff that are a little harder to get to.
Yeah.
I understand this. There's still a maybe okay size of people who want to cosplay who don't necessarily have the money to go to a con. That kind of answers its own question there, though.
Yeah.
So if you're not able to go, even though you'd really like to, that's just an unfortunate series of events for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are hundreds of other cons that you could go to that do allow cosplay. So why in the fuck do you have to pick on this one?
Not only allow, but encourage.
Yeah, encourage.
And have
even
costume contests and...
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to bitch about this one con not allowing cosplay except to bitch about it. If you paid money and you didn't read the rules like you should have, and they're not giving you I still think they should give a refund. If those people haven't gone to the show, then they should get a refund.
Right.
That's their right.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were to go and show up in costume and they say, whoa, you can't show up in costume. And they'd say, oh, well, we didn't read the rules. We didn't know. Okay, well, sorry. You know, you can come to the con, but you have to go take your costume off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I see it in that case. I see what you're saying. At that point, it's like, sorry, you're not giving you your money back.
Yeah, I'm not giving you your money back because you're here, but you can't come in with the costume on. You got to go take it off. Sorry. You know, it's said in our rules. That's your responsibility. Or you can just go and not get a refund.
Yeah.
You know, that would fall in the same line as bringing a weapon to a con that doesn't allow weapons, even fake weapons, even peace-bound weapons, or bringing a firearm, or chewing snuff inside the con.
Well, and there are
vaping.
Examples where cons that are more open to letting you have big foam weapons, and you're doing, what is that stupid Inuyasha?
Yeah,
is that one of them where he has a gigantic, like, Final Fantasy style 7 Buster sword, like a cartoonishly huge sword?
I don't know, but sure.
I guess any anime ever.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
Ones like that, there hits a certain point where, like, you've got somebody on stilts wearing an Optimus Prime costume that's 9 feet in the air.
Yeah,
it gets to a certain point where even that person, somebody's going to be like, "Look, dude, you can't wear that in here.
Yeah,
there's no room. People are being crowded."
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, you can see that the stupidity of people.
That got you a little riled up.
Yeah, it goes far. It's because I've seen a lot of this lately, not specifically pertaining to this con, but just people opening up their mouth and bitching about something, but not taking any responsibility. That's what pisses me off.
So not taking the responsibility, you're saying, for reading and knowing.
Of doing their due diligence. They just want to open their mouth and fucking spout whatever bullshit and make people think that they're wrong when they're not.
Uh-huh.
That kind of stuff drives me up the wall. If you're not going to research and do the due diligence to know what the fuck you're talking about, then you don't have a right to open your mouth about anything. That's the same reason why I don't like to talk about politics on this, because I don't fucking research politics.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of gray area in life. I mean, there are things that are factual and things that are not factual.
Yeah.
But in something like this isn't the cosplayers are right and the con's wrong, or vice versa.
Yeah.
The con probably could have been less shitty about it.
Yeah. The
con could have maybe thought about cosplay. But even then, no. I'm done devil's advocating.
Right.
Why should the con give a shit about people? Their entire point is to sell high-priced collectibles.
Yes.
It sounds like nothing I would ever want to go to, because I look for the cheapest shit possible when I go to cons.
Right.
I go with like $30 and I want to leave there with a shopping cart full of things. That's my goal when I go to a con. If they don't want cosplayers there, why? Who cares?
Yeah, that's
don't
their
fucking
right.
go.
Yeah.
There are places in the world where you can't go. Especially if you're who you are, you just can't go places.
Yeah. Just because I want to go to the zoo and play with a tiger doesn't mean that I have the right to climb into the tiger pit.
Yeah, I mean that's a little
it's
exaggerated.
It is, but it's the same concept.
So the people who run Elite Con are tigers.
Yes. They don't want
and the cosplayers just want to wrestle a little cub.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, it's an extreme example, but it's the same idea. I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just if you're a cosplayer, especially, but anybody who wants to go to a con, go to the con's website or their Facebook or whatever, read the rules beforehand, and make sure you have a good idea of what's going to go down. If they say no cosplay and you still want to go to it, then don't cosplay and still go.
Well, and think about it this way too. This became such a story because it's a con that doesn't allow cosplay.
Yeah.
What does that say? That it's one of the only cons that doesn't allow cosplay?
It is now an oddity because most cons allow cosplay.
I'd read this story, but the site that I ended up on was comicsbeat.com.
Yeah.
That I was kind of catching up on it. And they also mentioned that there's another con, TCAF.
Yeah.
Which doesn't allow cosplay.
Yeah.
But for the opposite reason. And the reason that it doesn't allow cosplay, the explanation, the way they wrote it makes hardly any fucking sense. So I don't quite get it. But what I've gleaned from it, it's like reading hieroglyphics. It's very poorly written. And this isn't the site. This is the press release of TCAF describing why.
Okay.
Basically, it's saying that people are ostracized in their day-to-day lives, and they want this to be a place where everybody's comfortable. And if you go in dressed in cosplay, somebody may give you a look or may inadvertently laugh because you're not appropriately looking like the character, and that will cause your feelings to get hurt.
Okay.
And so they don't want anybody's feelings to get hurt. So that's why they discourage cosplay.
Okay.
So that is one of the other cons that doesn't allow cosplay.
I mean, that's another thing as a cosplayer that you need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But to that end, people go to cons and they expect cosplayers.
Yeah.
Because that has become the norm. Really. So, here we have two examples of cons for very different reasons that don't allow cosplay. And they're the only examples that we have to look at.
Yeah. Now, granted, I'm sure if I jumped on Google and looked,
sure. I'm sure there are more. I'm sure. But this one is obviously getting such a why is this one being singled out? That's what I want to know.
I think because of the way they did it.
Just because of the response of it?
I think it's the response. It's the way they wrote it. The fact that they're called Elite Con, I think hit people the wrong way.
Yeah.
And the people who run it, from everything I've read of like the things they put out, seem like pretty big dickheads.
Oh, okay.
Like the way they sell it seems really shitty.
Yeah.
And that just could be me. But they're literally like, are you tired of all the other conventions with hassles and long lines?
I mean, if they're shitheads, they're shitheads. That's fine.
Yeah, but it's still their prerogative whether they want to allow cosplayers or not. But I think that's partially what caused the storm, is they were very highfalutin about it.
Highfalutin
very
about
snooty tooty.
So, leave your comments down below, because it's definitely something that can be discussed more.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think there's room to, you can defend your point.
I would love to hear from cosplayers who have a strong opinion about why this is wrong.
Yeah.
Because I stayed away from comment boards with a bunch of cosplayers because in any message board that's strong fandom, it gets pretty fucking toxic.
Yeah.
You don't get the distilled version of what the opinion is. You get like the version cranked up to 1 billion.
Right. So what we're doing right now is encouraging you to crank our comment board up to 1 billion.
Mm-hmm. Pump up the jams.
Yeah, pump up the jams.
Pump them up. Keep them pumping.
Because I think we have succinctly said that, even it's shitty, but it's their right.
Yeah.
And we disagree with the fact that they wouldn't give refunds.
Yeah.
And they should do that in a goodwill gesture.
And who knows? Maybe they will, or maybe maybe they have to. Because
maybe they legally have to.
I feel like you couldn't just say you don't get a review.
Yeah, you
buy something if you haven't gone yet.
Yeah, if you haven't gone.
Although no, I don't know. You buy an airplane ticket, you buy an airline ticket, you can't get a refund half the time.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, I'm sure that there is some legal precedent for not giving a refund.
Yeah,
but we don't know what it is. We're not lawyers. So all right. So is that it then, Brandon? Is that all we had?
Yeah, that's what I got.
We're a little short, but that tends to happen when we haven't recorded for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a short episode, but it's us getting back on the horse.
Back on the not literal horse, back on the heroin.
Yes, back on the... Oh, did somebody say my name?
Still recording. So,
very good, son. Very.
So it was nice.
Just be right over here.
Okay, yeah. So it was nice to...
Are you sure you don't need any cocaine?
What, cocaine?
Yes. We've talked about this, Brandon.
I'll shoot you a text.
Okay.
So it was nice getting back into the studio.
Yes.
And actually recording again after being gone so long.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to have to record through Skype tonight, which I loathe. I may have mentioned maybe once on the podcast that I loathe.
Man, we need to do it sometimes, Brandon. Sometimes we just have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I need to try out that new mic I got.
You do. The show must go on. It must go on.
We have a lot of comments, I think.
Do we? Okay.
Well, since we haven't done this in a while.
We haven't done it. So while he is looking up the comments, then I'll let you...
Are you actually able to pull them up on your computer? Because it shows up super weird on... Oh, no. Never mind. Keep going.
Okay.
I got it here.
So while he's looking up the comments, then we've... Like I said, I did several interviews on the website. Those should all be out by the time that this comes out. Go check those out. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know if we should do some more of that. That would be really nice. I'd like to, be able to give the mic over to Brandon, the gear over to Brandon, and let him go out to some of the local shops and stuff when he has the chance to maybe interview some people.
And I think it is something we're going to try going forward.
Right.
I'm not sure yet. You and I haven't really discussed how we might implement it into the show.
Yeah.
Whether we would continue to release the interviews as episodes like we have, or kind of, I think it would be neat if we get interviews to sometimes just tack them on to the end of episodes.
Yeah.
You know, do our episode and then, okay, in the end of this, we got an interview with such and such.
Right. Yeah. We could do something like that, or throw it in the middle, or, you know, anything works.
But it's still something we're working on, but I think we're going to go that direction going forward. We're going to keep this podcast how it is, but try to put out more content.
Yeah. So, you know, go check those out. We have another article that for any of you crafters out there, maybe coming up here within the next week, I would say that that's a fair bet. You know, just trying out different things. Let us know what you think about that when it comes out. And make sure to subscribe to us, you know?
Yeah.
Hit us up on the iTunes and all of that stuff. I mean, I'll go through the usual stuff, but if you go to our website, there will be a little pop-up box that says subscribe. You can put in your email, and you can, every time we post a new thing, you can get an email saying that we posted it.
Shove us into every slot you can.
Yes, just shove us in like a TF card, because that's what you call a micro SD card or a regular SD card, but in different places. Do you have those comments? I'm swinging in the wind here.
Okay. We have a lot. I have 6 tabs open of the different things.
Oh my God.
Different articles and shit.
Oh,
okay.
Are you doing it for all the different articles and stuff too?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm just going to run through them.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so for the last episode that was published February 23rd.
February 23rd,
was Star Wars The First Hoobawutz. We have Viscount Terry W. Irvin saying that he agrees superhero movies will eventually achieve audience burnout. With the Marvel Avengers, the ability to mix and match superheroes in movies makes it like being able to shuffle the deck, adding a few new cards each time to make the next game a little unique. But even then, maybe by 2024, ... That's ominous, ellipses. Also voted. Stephen Hines was traumatized by that Superman Kryptonite rant. I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
I don't remember the episode.
Good job, Brandon. Way to know our content.
He agrees the superhero movie thing will hit a wall eventually. You know, they're running out of ideas when Ant-Man has a movie.
Aw. I heard the Ant-Man movie was pretty good, though.
Yeah. Well, and they needed to establish Ant-Man's a pretty established member of the Avengers, especially with what they're trying to do with the formation of the Avengers.
Yeah.
He also said, another thing, how the hell is there a market for all these King Kong movies? Seriously, who gives a rat's ass about King Kong anymore? Anyone, Bueller.
Everybody gives a shit about King Kong. Okay?
King Kong's not doing super great at the box office, but it's not bombing either.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's about middling.
It's okay. It's just okay.
Wizard in the Wardrobe, Keisha and Viscount Terry commented on the Lavanna Limley interview, and both had nice things to say about her and her work.
Good.
The Viscount Terry interview, he said bum deal with the recording curse.
Yep.
There's a lot here, so I'm running through them. Bear with me, listeners. We're in this together.
We are all in it together.
The interview with James Patrick that you did.
Yes.
Local celebrity Kurt Greenfield said, nice little interview. That's the James Patrick that I remember. Pity that he couldn't even give you a hint of what he's up for at the big 3, like a girl with a big mallet, or someone who dresses up like a bat, or even a team that includes an archer, an aquatic, a flying alien, and a woman wearing tights. I feel like he's hinting at something, but I don't know what.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the only thing that tells us is that he could be working for DC.
Yeah.
But we don't really know, so we can only speculate, and I think it's fair that we are allowed to do so.
Yeah. I mean, he sort of works for DC. He's talked about it.
He has
like
worked.
On and off. He's like a mercenary.
Yeah.
He's like trench coat flapping as he walks down.
He's a riding mercenary. Yes.
Yeah. Just moving on to the next town.
Does that make him a mercenary?
A mercenary? That would just be a mercenary who's not great at their job. That was a shitty portmanteau
there too.
A mercenary?
Riding mercenary. A mercenary. Riding mercenary.
A mercenary.
A mercenary.
Moving on.
I'm fucking dumb.
Viscount Terry commented on that as well. Just saying, thumbs up, James. The Asylum of the Inner Geek, the episode that we put out last week.
Yes.
Jordan Lowe, who was one of the people on the podcast,
was indeed.
Nice, love the alternate opening, which I thought was good, Remington.
Oh, thank you.
Although you sounded a little sick when I listened to it. Your voice sounded a little scratchy.
Well, it wasn't mine. It was Freddie Fantiosi. And I mean, he hasn't done anything for us for a while, so.
Viscount Terry... I appreciate Viscount Terry's honesty on this one. Enjoyed listening, except the comics discussion. simply because do not read a lot of comics.
Yep.
Like sitting at a round table and listening in.
Yeah, I just I love Terry so much. I do.
He's my favorite.
He watched my stuff because I bought stuff while I was at the con as well. So he watched my stuff for me. I got to meet his wife, his lovely wife, Mrs. Viscount.
Yeah,
Mrs. Viscount. So
I think you would still call her Mrs. Irvin. I don't think it would be Mrs. and then his official title.
I'm aware, but it's funnier to say it that way. Also because I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but that's just because I'm shitty with names.
Yeah.
So, but they're just I love them so much. And I went ahead and on our website, if you haven't listened to us on our website, we've got an ad up for Terry's book, Thunder Wells,
which is his newest one.
It
was originally, he talked about it when we had him on over the summer. He was working on it. At that point, it was called Jack's Tale.
Yeah.
And I think we were the first place that he gave the official name of Thunder Wells.
I think
we
you're
were.
right.
Because he was like, I'm going to go ahead and say it today. And do you know what Thunder Wells are? And then he explained them to me off mic. So then on mic, when he said, well, do you know what a Thunder Wells are? And I said, yes, of course I do. It is this thing.
Right.
Always be closing.
So yeah, going back to my point, we've got an ad up for him. We love to support him however we can. I picked up the whole run of First Civilization's Legacy series. So that's Flank Hawk, Blood Sword, and Soul Forge.
Yeah.
And I may have mixed up the order, but those are the 3 books within the First Civilization's Legacy series. And Thunder Wells. I picked that one up too. Next time I see him, I'll probably pick up. And the reason I did is because I thought that I had completely lost the copy of Flank Hawk that he gave me. And I couldn't find it, and Ginger's like, it's literally right in front of your face. You're a moron. So I look, and sure enough, there it is, and it's sitting here. He signed specifically the ones for us. So that means I have an extra copy that's just signed by him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do a giveaway.
That would be cool.
Do we want to do it? Do we want to take some time to think about doing a specific way, or do we just want to offer this up, or what do you want to do?
I think we should give it away to the first person who calls our number and leaves us a message.
Okay.
Call our number, leave us a message, leave a email address we can get back to you at. We can edit that out before we play your message if you want us to. Right? So if somebody call us at our number, Remington will read here in just a few.
Right.
978 DU Ogres.
Right.
Leave us a message, say whatever, mention that you are calling about Flank Hawk. If you're the first person to call and leave a message, you'll get it.
Okay.
So in the message at the end, leave an email address for us. And if you are the first person, we'll reply to that email.
Right.
We're going to play your call on air, but we will edit out you giving your email address.
Right.
Was that really, did I say that super convoluted? Because I feel like I said it really convoluted.
They can rewind it and listen to it again.
Call number, leave message, email, good, win.
Yeah. And just so you can have an idea of what Flank Hawk is, I will go ahead and read the snippet on the back.
We would never spend this much time on anybody except for Viscount Terry W. Irvin II. Because he was our first fan that we didn't know.
Right, yes. What happens when fire-breathing dragons battle Stukas for aerial supremacy over a battlefield? Can an Earth wizard's magic defeat a panzer? Krish, a farmhand turned mercenary, witnesses this and much more as he confronts the Necromancer King's new war machines, resurrected from before the first civilization's fall. Worse yet, a wounded prince tasks Krish to find the fabled Colonel of the West and barter the royal family's malevolent blood sword for a weapon to thwart the Necromancer King's victory. Flank Hawk is set in the distant future where magic exists and brutish ogres are more than a child's nightmare.
I'm going to try to add sound effects for the rest of this.
That was it.
No.
You failed miserably, Brandon. Was that a good read? Should I do it again?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, fair enough. So, yes.
You got the hand.
Yeah,
as you were reading, you had the clenched fist.
Yes.
Too.
I had to siphon my power through the fist. So Thanks for taking something and sullying it, Brandon.
All I have to do now is go, ugh.
Ugh. So yes, if you want a signed copy of Flankhawk, not addressed to anyone specific, but just signed by Terry W. Irvin II, give us a call at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. Leave us a message talking about whatever you want to talk about, and then say, I'd like to try and win Flankhawk. Here's my email, and then we'll send you an email if you were the first caller.
Right.
Right.
Chances are good you will be. Because nobody
ever calls
us.
Yeah.
One more thing while we're talking about Viscount Terry W. Irvin II,
Okay.
author. The book Thunder Wells that he's released, if no other reason to buy it, there is a Easter egg involving the Dueling Ogres podcast in the
Right.
book. So if for no other reason, buy it for that.
Support him by supporting us.
Support us by supporting him.
Support. Wait, this is a real.
It's a mutual
support.
support station.
You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Facebook page. But you can only get the book by calling us. Make sure to check out our website at duelingogres.com for articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Find us on YouTube. And you can also subscribe and click the little bell thing for notifications on that. iHeartRadio or Satchel, where you can donate to the podcast, or nearly anywhere else you can find a podcast. You can literally find us everywhere. We are like a fucking plague.
Go out into your backyard, dig a hole at random, any point in the day, 3-4 shovels in.
Dueling Ogres.
There we are.
Boom.
Dueling Ogres.
Right there.
I want to say at the end of the show, as we finish up, that I love all of you listeners.
Are you pandering the listeners again? Are you buttering them? What are you doing, Brandon?
Partially, yeah. I mean, I know it's a little cringy, but like, I haven't had a great couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I've been working on stuff for the podcast and thinking about ideas to move forward. And like, I really like the community we have. And I just wanted to let the listeners know that I love you. And if I could, I would French every one of you.
And he might.
Or we could just sit and talk.
Yeah.
About Frenching me. Which is going to happen
So until
later.
next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your lips Frenched.
Oh, God.
And your... I can't change it. I can't change it.
It's fine. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Jesus.
I don't want to set a precedent where I change the ending, though. The ending's...
We're seriously... No, it's fine. It's fine. We're done.
And your tusks sharp.
And your tusks sharp. Good night.
Later. Damn it. And your tusks sharp.
You're ruining everything.
French it.
Why? French the tusk?
French it.
French it. French it.
French it.
French it. Bad, terrible French accents.
That's like,
Boop.
I never really realized
It was like a return to the womb.
You've never played any of the Elder Scrolls games.
No, I haven't.
But the Khajiit, the cat race, all talk like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They talk like this.
Huh.
It's like a weird sort of Antonio Banderas. Like,
Khajiit has many ways.
Makes sense.
Khajiit.
do I still need to be this close to the mics? Same closeness I normally am?
I mean, yeah, as close as you can get. Closer the better with the dynamic mics. That's what we've learned.
Does it help if I cock my head creepily to the side like an Asian horror film?
Yes. Very much so. It very much helps.
I can't do that. The grudge noise, you know what I'm talking about?